Hello and welcome to Penelope's Chinwag. This week's episode I'm going to read you the next part of my story, which is 1970, no, not 1970 at all, which is 1967, just towards the end. It's November, and if you did want to listen to the whole story because you just come across me and, started watching, there is a playlist from episode 1 in my story by Penny. That's a bit rambly, isn't it, for an introduction? Anyway, welcome to Penelope's Chinwag. So I'm going to read you the next part of my story, and I'm going to show you a couple of things that I've been crafting. But before I do that, I want to say a big thank you to all of you who said that Sheriff, who I was talking about, I think is RC Sheriff, I think so. Anyway, I said I'm reading The Fortnight in September, which I'm going to finish shortly. Well, I've only got the last tiny bit to read. Oh, it's so nostalgic. It's so, yes, it's, well, my son-in-law said he found it quite moving. And I must say, I'm getting to that part where I'm finding it quite moving too. But it's a lovely, calm story. Anyway, I did say that RC Sheriff wrote Goodbye, Mr. Chips. And he didn't actually write the book. What he did was write the screenplay. Thank you very much for pointing that out. I meant to say that, but you know what it's like, sitting here talking to a phone, you get things wrong. First of all, I want to say hello to the ladies. You know, the ladies came to visit me from London a couple of weeks ago now, and I made them some almond chewy biscuits. And anyway, I had a picture of them making them today in their kitchen where they live, so I hope you enjoy them. I've also, Tommy did tell me when he was trying the recipe, because he made them, that, oh, that's sweet, Nan, and it made me think, I bet he doesn't eat too many sweet things because mums don't feed their children too many sweet things now. So I'm going to cut the sugar down from 1.5 cups to 1 cup, and I'm going to see if that works. And instead of the sugar, I'm going to put coconut in. So I'll let you know how that, if that works or not. Yes, so I'm going to take you over now and show you the knitting I've been doing and the bed cover, and then I'll come back here and we'll talk about it. So I'll see you over there. So here we are. My bed is 2 single beds sit together, so it's queen size. So that makes it about 6 foot 6'3", 6 foot, something like that. And here is the blanket on the bed. It comes up to that end of the bed there, and it comes up, if I just pull that out a bit there, yeah, just to there, look. So you can see how large it is, how lovely it is. And I'm really thrilled to bits with it. It's the simplest thing to knit. You start in the middle with a few stitches, and you just go round and round and round and round. Here we go. Until you get to about here where you've got 1100 stitches. But that doesn't matter because it's just a few rows, and you can take as long as you like. This took me 4 weeks to knit. Just mindless knitting, sitting watching the telly, chatting to Pete, you know, my usual. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm going to tell you about what I chose to knit it with, and I'll do that when I'm sitting on my chair. And here is the bed runner I'm making for my granddaughter. I'm doing the, what do you call that? Yeah, double wedding ring. And I've quilted half of it. I've sewn it, applique, that's what they call it. I've sewn it along the edge onto this flat bit of material, and now I've started quilting it. I'm quilting round the edge to define it round the edge of the melons, and then I'm doing different ones in the middle. So that's the first one, that's the second one, that's the third one. You can see I need to do the melons here. I was just getting the centres done. That's the fourth one. It shows the wrinkles up on camera, but in real life you can't see those wrinkles like that. Needs a little bit of a press maybe, where it's been folded. So I'm going round the edge of each one. And on the top. It's looking grey-green on here, but it is actually, if I come out further, you can see it's a lovely subtle green. And then, so I've got 3 more to do, which I'm going to reverse. So that one is going to go there, yeah, and the others will go along, landing up with that one. And then I'll show you the back. The back, oh yes, you can see it's been folded. Oh, that looks great. It's green. Oh, you can't see the colour. I wonder if you can see if I get near the window. It's called Pin Dot by Anbo. Ah, that's better for you. Pin Dot by Anbo Textiles. Although it is green, it doesn't look green here. Very, very pale lime green. I'm going to bind it in a yellow because I think the yellow picks out this, and I'll show you that when it's done. So there we are, showing you what I've been up to. Yeah, so that's that. I've got it here, and it did look a bit creased up, but it isn't. It's amazing how things look on camera, isn't it? But it has been folded up. So I haven't done any for a few days. So as you can see, what I did, now how can you see that? What I've shown you over the last few weeks, but if you're new, you might want to catch up. I've made double wedding ring quilts, quite a few of them, and I've always done it, you know, by the patchwork method, which is draw a line, you've got 1/4 of an inch, sew those two together. I wanted to see if it would work, EPP, and well, it does work, so I'm happy to say that it does, but also it was a bit of a fiddle, but then I think double wedding ring is a fiddle, whatever way you do it. So I sent off to Sew and Quilt for the papers, and then, as you know, I fold the papers round and I tack it, because putting these together is you know, it's a bit of a manhandle because it's a circle, isn't it? It's circular, and so yeah, you can see if you just glued that like many people do, it wouldn't hold together, and you've got a massive piece in the middle here, and you've got to get those bits round. So I tack it, and then I kept all the papers in the outside ring. I appliqued it round the edge, and then when I'd sewn that ring, just left a little bit there. Oh, why can't it be there? Just left a little bit there, put my hand in, took all the papers out of that ring, and then just sewed up. And then did the next ring. And now I'm quilting, as I've shown you. It feels lovely. So that's one. There's my wadding. And there's the same. You don't want a stiff material. If you do buy it, yeah, backing needs to be, just because you think of it as backing, it's not a backing, it's the same as the front. What you would put on the front, put on the back. Here is this is the habitation throw, by the way. I made this for my mum. Oh, so, well, I didn't make it for my mum. I made it for myself as a little blanket. As soon as my mum saw it, oh, she loved it. And she wore it. She wore it every day. And I think of my mum all the time, every day, all day. And I love it. It's got the floof with it. So that's all the oddments of wool I had, just as I usually do for a Helen Stewart. Although I don't use oddments. Anyway, let's go down all the rabbit holes. So let me take that off. And we've just been out for our walk. I walked up the stairs. I've got myself a drink, some apple juice. I came up to talk to you. And here is the throw. Now what I used, I'm just going to go and get the labels for what I used. So going back to the quilt for a minute, I'm all 6s and 7s today. These are what I use, and I just draw very lightly, you know, just draw it very lightly on and go over it. That was one of the, and here's the other one. I just used this centerpiece. It was just enough. And then I'm going to use this for the binding because I think it somehow picks out the yellow. And this is the Anthology throw, and I used 2 skeins, 100-gram skeins of Attic Spin dye rosin. So I wanted it between each colour. I wanted it plainish. Obviously this isn't dead plain. It's got all the different colours in it, but yeah, thank you very much for that, Angela and Andy. And this, I have had the other colour, because I only used 2, the other colour I've had in my wool, you know, well, I've had it for quite a while, and I bought a pattern to knit a jumper with it, but the colours were so, I just felt it didn't suit the jumper, and so I've had it waiting in the wings to be used for quite a long while. She doesn't make it anymore. Louise Harding, I love Louise Harding, and I've knitted so many of her patterns. In fact, I think this might be one. Anyway, this is Amitola, and it is made in Italy, and it's 80% wool and 20% silk, but you can't get it anymore. And it was £6.95 a ball, but my wool shop was closing down and I got it for something half price, I think. So really it was a very good buy. But I just wanted to show you how mine, well, you've seen how I've got that same one from Attic Spin dye going in between, and yet the balls of the Amitola, they are a variegated colour, so that was enough on its own really. They all blend because they're, you know, they're the same wool. And there it is. There's the edging. I just did 1 row of that. I think she says do 4 of the plain, but I just wanted 1 just to show the pattern. Now if I put that round me, that is gorgeous, isn't it? Shall I stand up? but then lovely over the knees or as a blanket. I should have done that at the end, but here we are. I can see me making many more of these. I'm going to put up how I washed it because it could be daunting. I just popped mine in the bath and then I laid out a large bath towel on the bed, rolled it up, and then I put the bath towel on top of the radiator. It was only on very slightly, the radiator, and it just took a day to dry. So that's that. Oh, I can't tell you how gorgeous it is. So I think that's all I've got to tell you, really. The weather today is absolutely beautiful. The sun is shining, and we've just been for a walk, you know, by the sea, and it's a lovely 1st of November. What a lovely start to November. Let's hope it carries on. So I'm going to read you my story now. And in 1967, we moved from the lovely childhood home in Southgate. It's only literally round the corner. It would take you 5 minutes to walk. However, I didn't want to leave my childhood home, and I was, you know, I'd met Pete, and I think I was all a little bit, I wasn't all over the place, but yeah, times were changing, and I was growing up, and yeah. Anyway, I wanted to show you the Hermitage because you've probably forgotten. Why should you remember? My mum and her friend who lived next door to us, the friend Eileen said to my mum one day, Mum told me all about it. She said, oh, let's go down and see that house. It's up, you know, they're going to pull it down. But then I think the people of Southgate sort of, you know, said, no, we don't want it pulled down because it was thatched. Shall we have a look at it? Anyway, Mum and Eileen went to look at it in the morning. Eileen fell in love with it. My mum would never have gone for it. She wasn't that type. She was quite happy in her home. But anyway, Eileen said yes. And so the men, my dad and Jim, they went to look at it in the evening. And that day they said yes. And they put in an offer. This was the house. And it literally was, you know, they were going to pull it down. And so Eileen bought this part here, and there was a front door here round the side and a staircase. So she had that bit, and then we had that bit. That was my bedroom, and that was my sitting room. And my dad renovated it. Well, with some friends, a group of workmen, you know, obviously it was a massive job. This was the kitchen. And it was all like that. I mean, it really was. I'll show you one other one. That was the hall. Anyway, I won't show you all those, but this was the kitchen after Mum and Dad had done it up. Oh, look at all Mum's cupboards. Because Mum never had cupboards when she got married, you know, they lived in one room, and she just had a board over the... Anyway, you know the story if you've watched me. But, yeah, it was lovely. I've still got that chair in the hall. And Mum and Dad had a great big table, beautiful table made specially. They haven't got it there, but I've got that in my conservatory. So things are, you know, I'm not one to change things much. A bit like Mum. What we had, we've kept. However, this was where I was moving to in my story in 1967. And I was a bit grumpy about it. Let's get on. Before we get on, I'm going to put up a little clip here of the wooden tops. Some of you will remember the wooden tops. They were a programme in the 50s, 60s, not 60s, 50s. And it was what I watched when I came home for lunch from school. And then I used to sit with my brother and watch it, the Wooden Tops. And you see, I'll put it up here and then I'll talk about it.
This is the story about the Wooden Tops. There was Mummy Wooden Top and the baby, and Daddy Wooden Top. Then there were Willie and Jenny the twins, and Mrs. Scrubbit, who comes to help Mummy Wooden Top, and Sam, who helps Daddy Wooden Top, and last of all, the very biggest spotty dog you ever did see. And they all lived together in a little house in the country.
You see, there was Mummy Wooden Top and Daddy Wooden Top, and then the two children, and there was a guy who helped out in the garden, and there was a spotty dog. And I think, watching that as a little girl, I just thought, that's what I want, that's what I need, and that's what I wanted. And then, of course, I met Pete, fell instantly head over heels, and actually, before I even had Kim, my first baby, we had a Dalmatian, which was a huge mistake. But we loved him. We had him for 11 years. But that was all down to the Wooden Tops, I think. Anyway, I'll get on. You remember that Peter had just found that he had left the army last episode, and he worked in Greentrees Hospital. He gave in his, well, he didn't give in his notice, he just walked out because he was disgusted at the food that they served. And that was it, he left. And he went back to live with his Auntie Ada. Now that Peter was back in Civvy Street, he caught up with all his old friends. For me, that meant meeting new people, and I knew they meant a great deal to Peter. However, things were changing. They were meeting new partners, and I felt a bit at 6s and 7s. In November 1967, we sat down with Mum and Dad to talk about the wedding date. I wanted it as soon as possible, of course, but Dad had other ideas. He suggested the 3rd of March, 1969. Well, of course, this was 1967. I met Pete January the 1st, 1967, or the night before. And here we were in November. And I was just anxious to get married. But anyway, he said, how about the 3rd of March, 1969? All the daffodils will be out, he said. It will be a lovely time of the year. I just couldn't grasp it. I didn't care what time of the year it was. I remember putting a ring around the 9 in my diary and feeling absolutely devastated. I even wrote that Peter hadn't stuck up for me and that I was cross. Yeah, I wanted him to say, oh no, Ron, you know, I want to marry your daughter next week. But he didn't. He just said, okay. Oh dear. Look, I was cross. Looking back, I can see Dad probably thought I was too young, only 18, and that waiting a bit longer wouldn't do any harm. Still, another 16 months felt like forever. I'd known Peter for 11 months, and this really took the biscuit. The very next day, the 25th of November, we had a thank you party for all the workmen who'd helped to transform the Hermitage. I can't remember too much about it, to be honest. I was feeling a bit low, just wrapped up in my own thoughts and feelings. But then, on the 30th, at 10:45, I took my driving test and passed. The examiner smiled and said, well, Poppet, I'll give you a lovely Christmas present and pass you. I'll never forget those words. Strange, I thought, but they lifted my spirits. It didn't last long though. The next day we went to the thatch barn in Barnet to celebrate, and the car was broken into in the car park. Peter's lovely suit jacket was stolen. He had another one made at Burton's, but it just wasn't the same, and I felt so disappointed for him. Life was a bit of a roller coaster, happy moments followed by setbacks. I wasn't at work much that December. I was tired and run down, and I think a wee bit depressed, and that's where my diaries came to an end. From that point on, I rely on memory, which, as it happens, is very good. So I'll read you a little bit more next time. And the film now is, The Birds Yesterday. Pete put some food out for them, and honestly, it didn't take them long. They sort of untwisted one of the food things and it fell on the floor. We went out for our walk, and when we came back, Pete had to put that back. And then before you could say Jack Robinson, well, it was all gone. And he said, I'm not filling it up today. So they'll have to take potluck. So that's the little film. So it's been lovely to see you. And I'll say cheerio. Take care. I know some of you are really going through hard times and you're awake in the night. And yeah, anyway, enough said, but love and hugs to you. And take good care of yourselves. And I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye.